going back. 1992, Atlanta Braves, Toronto Blue Jays trivia. I'm going to give you multiple choice, Blake.
Okay.
Just to soften the blow a little bit. So let's start with the first one, and we're going to start right off the top. In Game 1, which Atlanta Brave hit a home run that produced all the runs Atlanta would need to win the opener from the Toronto Blue Jays? Was it A, Deion Sanders? Was it B, Terry Pendleton? Was it C, Lonnie Smith? Or was it D, Damon Berryhill?
So I know it was off of Jack Morris because Jack Morris started the first game.
Yes, you are correct.
I'm going to say Berryhill because I feel like I would remember it more if it were Pendleton or Deion Sanders.
Boom! Out of the park, baby. Jack Morris lifted that leg, delivered to lefty Damon Berryhill, and he took it yard, which, yeah, under the radar. That's a good way of thinking about it. Pendleton or Sanders, yeah, you would probably remember that one more.
And I had already forgot who the other option was.
But yeah, Lonnie Smith is probably in the same in the Damon Berryhill category. But yeah, Berryhill only 47 career home runs over a 10-year career, and ended up yanking that one off Jack Morris.
Was he their catcher?
He was their catcher.
Okay.
Yeah. He took over that season. I forget the other catcher, but he wasn't the starting catcher at the beginning of the year. But he took over, and that was a gut punch for me. Greg Olson was their other catcher, and then it was a gut punch because I just thought, if this guy's hitting home runs, now we're screwed. Our ace just got plowed. But things picked up in Game 2, and that's where we go for our second question. Things look bad going into the ninth inning. Jays were down 4-3 in the top of the ninth, but a Blue Jay hit a 2-run blast to take the late lead, and the Jays would go on to win that game. I see you nodding away. Who hit that homer? Was it A, Roberto Alomar? Was it B, World Series MVP Pat Borders? Was it C, Ed Sprague? Or was it D, Joe Carter?
That one is C, Ed Sprague. That's on the VHS tapes. That's in the highlight reel. I'm pretty confident that one's Sprague.
You are correct. Yeah, it was a pinch hit homer as well. First pitch swinging, Ed Sprague. It seemed like they were going to go down 2-0. But not only was
Oh, right. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but yeah. I was like pinch hit, and then. Yeah, that makes total sense because they would have been on the road to start that series, right? So you had I was trying to think, like, who would he have pinch hit for? But there was no DH for those first couple games.
Yeah, he pinch hit in the 8-hole. He pinch hit in the 9-hole for the pitcher. But the hitter before him, a little bonus question here, was also a pinch hitter, and he walked to set the stage for Ed Sprague's 2-run homer. So an incredible. It went. Borders got out to start the inning, and then this player walked before Sprague's home run. So do you remember the player who walked? I'm not giving you multiple choices.
No.
It's tough. I'm
going to guess Candy Maldonado because I don't think he was like an everyday starter, but that's the only bench guy I can guess off the top of my head.
Good guess. No, it was Derek Bell, fourth outfielder. He's probably most well known for a prank that the Jays pulled on him. Do we have that clip, JD? Yeah. The last game of the 92 season, Joe Carter drove Derek Bell's truck onto the field in pretending to be giving it away in a promotion, and Derek Bell just didn't know what was going on. It was phenomenal. He's essentially a rookie in the bigs, and it was amazing. The Jays had already clinched. These were the good old days.
Oh man, the look on his face.
It is phenomenal. All right, moving on to the next one. Yeah, there it is. If you're watching on YouTube, great stuff. Next one. Who did Ed Sprague hit that homer off of? Was it A, Mark Wohlers, B, Jeff Reardon, C, Mike Stanton, or D, Steve Avery? You remember what that VHS tape was telling you, Blake?
No. I know. So they were like kind of not like 2015 Royals-ish, but a little bit. They had a lot of relievers they would lean on. I'm going to say Mike Stanton. I want to say he got the most save opportunities, but they had like a couple guys closing at that point, so it could have been any. I'm gonna go with Stanton, though.
I threw in this one. It was tough. Sorry.
You don't need to apologize.
No, it was a tough one. I wanted to add in as many questions as possible. It wasn't in there to start, but I wanted to throw it in there because it was a rough couple games for Jeff Reardon. So he let up that homer, and then he came on to face one batter in the ninth inning of Game 3, which was Candy Maldonado, after a bunch of guys pitched. As you said, they had a bunch of guys come in. Jeff Reardon came in for one guy to try and get Candy Maldonado out with one out. Infield in, but Maldonado smacked it over everybody for a winning single.
Jeff Reardon, Expos legend.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe he was a sleeper agent the whole time and they just like activated him for that series. Like, hey, we want you to stay in the NL, but if it comes to it, we need you to help bring a World Series to Canada.
Very well done. I've forgotten Expo for me. Jeff Reardon. Good one. Okay, moving on. Game 3. One of the best World Series catches of all time, Devon White running into the wall. It should have been a triple play because they doubled off Pendleton off first, and then there was a rundown between second and third. Kelly Gruber dove, hit the heel of an Atlanta Brave player, but he was called safe by the umpire there. Who was that runner that Kelly Gruber tagged? Was it A, David Justice, B, Lonnie Smith, C, Jeff Blauser? I just wanted to say that name. It's not Jeff Blauser. Or D, Deion Sanders.
This is not one I remember, but trying to deduce it. I'm going to say Lonnie Smith because he's come up in a couple questions now.
No, save that one for later. It was Deion Sanders.
Okay.
Deion was just too fast.
I feel like I should remember that better.
Yeah. You remember Gruber yelling at the umpire, I'm sure. All right, moving on. Game 3. This is what I was referencing earlier in the show about your third pitcher. So important, and this was extremely important. Game 3, both starting pitchers went 8 innings. Wild. That's a throwback.
Are you even allowed to do that now?
Yeah. No, it was crazy looking through these box scores because it happened over and over. Can you name both pitchers? I'll give you combined options here. What were they? Steve Avery and Juan Guzman, Steve Avery and Jimmy Key, Charlie Leibrandt and Juan Guzman, or Charlie Leibrandt and Jimmy Key?
So it's definitely Juan Guzman.
You're right about that. So Avery or Leibrandt to go along with Guzman?
I'm gonna say Avery.
Bang.
Okay.
Big Game 3 performance from both Juan Guzman and Steve Avery, going 8 innings. Wild. All right, moving on to Game 5. I wonder if
did we skip Game 4?
Yeah, we're skipping Game 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they got the job done. That's one though. Nothing extremely revelatory. Yeah, Pat Borders I think hit the solo blast in that one. It's funny because Pat Borders isn't really involved in a lot of these questions, but he went on to win MVP just because he was hot hitting the ball. But he did hit a big solo home run. Yeah, we're skipping Game 4. They're up 3-1. The Blue Jays are in Game 5. Who hit the 5th inning grand slam off Jack Morris that put the Braves ahead 7-2?
Yeah, I can give that one was Lonnie Smith then, right?
You hit it out of the park.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah.
You kind of handed me that one with telling me Lonnie Smith was going to be an answer at some point.
Yeah, I did. I mean, that one's a memorable one. A grand slam in the World Series. You don't see that too often. But yeah, off Jack Morris, who lost 2 games that series.
Yeah, I was going to say he had a rough go.
Coming off that World Series MVP with the Twins the year before, which he pitched like that 10 innings, Game 7, right? That was wild. So the Jays, hired gun right there going to get him. But he was 0-3 in the playoffs and lost both games in the World Series, and they were still able to win. He had a 7.43 ERA in the postseason. Oof. But they had another hired gun in David Cone that solidified things, and then Guzman and Jimmy Key. Lonnie Smith won 3 World Series in the 80s. Didn't realize that. As I did my research here. A few more, Blakey, because you're rocking it. We know how Game 6 ended in the 11th inning. Nixon bunts, Timlin's on it, throws to first. Mike Timlin got the save, but what Blue Jay pitcher picked up the series-winning win in Game 6? Was it Dave Stieb, Jimmy Key, David Wells, or David Cohn?
Yeah, it would be Key, because that was kind of the thing of like, oh, well, he's coming out of the bullpen now. Like him being that swingman dual role thing was like that was a big part of that story. So I'm gonna go with Jimmy Key.
Money in the bank. You're 6 years old and you remember that? I was sleeping through Jimmy Key's inning.
No, I don't remember it like from that. I remember it from I've watched those World Series highlights a million times, and I think even during the pandemic they were like replaying those games on TV or something like that because there were no sports. It is interesting. He started Game 4 and had an inning and a third key moment there where Tom Hinkie blew the save, and then he came in as a swingman. And that's only like a 3-day turnaround to come out of the bullpen. That's like David Price style.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a good point. All right, 2 more questions.
All right.
The winning hit in that game. Who drove in the game-winning runs in the 11th inning of Game 6 for the Blue Jays with a big double? Was it A, Joe Carter, B, Kelly Gruber, C, Roberto Alomar, or D, Dave Winfield?
Dave Winfield.
All he does is Winfield. Dave Winfield, a big bat, another hired gun, the DH that season. You remember that as well. You remember it all.
I've got a couple of these wrong.
Nah, you're on fire. Last one, you're going to get this one wrong. Nah, we'll see. We're going off the field. We're going to the Olympics.
Oh.
Ed Sprague's wife, this was a story back then, Kristen Babb Sprague, was an Olympic gold medalist that same year in 1992. In what event did she win gold for the USA? Was it A, fencing? Was it B, 10-foot diving? Was it C, handball? Or was it D, synchronized swimming?
Jeez. I'm trying to like come up with like tricky ways to figure this out. And like, I don't know where Ed Sprague went to college, and I don't know what colleges have good synchronized swimming systems or whatever. I'm going to go with, you said diving was one of the options?
Yeah, 10-foot diving.
Okay, I'll go with diving. As much as synchronized swimming is funnier to me, I'll go with diving.
You're right to be in the pool, but it was synchronized swimming.
Yeah. Jeez. What was her name again? I wanna look this up.
Kristen Babb Sprague. And
is there even a event 10-foot diving? Wouldn't it be 10-meter or 5-meter diving? Free?
Oh, interesting, Mr. Metric.
Well, I would assume that. I don't think that's a thing. So that was a bit.
I guess 10 feet off the diving board is not a lot. Now that I picture it, that's like
you're right.
Your friend meters. With the cool pool with a high diving board. That's like you could do like a Jeff Hardy swanton bomb as your 10-foot dive. I don't know what the judges will score it though.
I'm just to confirm. I was coming up with this in my bed about 5:30 a.m. this morning, and that was what came to me as an event. I went 10 foot, but 10 meters. You're right, JD. It's 10 meters. So, that was a trick. I threw that in there on purpose. Kristen Babb Sprague, that was a story that year because it was in Barcelona. She won. You talk about things I got wrong here with the Olympics. Apparently the event is women's solo. It's a synchronized swimming, but women's solo. I don't understand what that
Who are you synchronized with?
The diver diving off 10 feet in the other pool. I have no idea. Anyways, that was a big deal, I think, because Sylvia Frechette, if you remember that, a Canadian name, was involved in that. But that's it. Kristen Babb Sprague, the answer there. Yeah. So thank you so much, Blakey. I appreciate you doing that with me. That was a lot of fun. 92 World Series trivia, baby.